Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another full-length episode of Mystic Scales and
And
Fae
Fae
Tales
Tales
podcast.
podcast.
I'm one of your hosts, Lee,
And I'm your other host, Jennifer.
and this week we are finishing up our Shadow and Bone trilogy. So we were talking about the third book in the Lee Bardugo installment of the Grishaverse, Dun Dun Dun, Ruin and Rising. We both have our beautiful covers, our physical books.
I keep calling
Even
it
though
Run and Rising too.
Run. I
In
mean,
their head.
but you mentioned that quote that really gave
Oh
it
yeah. So
meaning.
it actually has meaning, but I just keep reading it really quickly and not registering
Well,
that it's
it's
a
also
ruin.
like the the way it's like drawn, it's very easy to just see
Skip
run.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. We've gone over Siege and Storm and Shadow and Bone, and we've already done Six of Crows. So this isn't the end, though. We are still gonna move on to King of Scars, and I forget what the wolf one is. Run of the Wolves
Wolf. I mean, it's the second one in King of
and
Stars,
the
King
King
of
of
Scars.
Scars.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we've been doing this for a while.
And
Uh,
and
and
as we're recording all of this and doing this, she's coming out with another book that is a novella.
yes,
Letters from Ketterdam.
yes.
So we could talk about that at some point too. So there's more.
Yeah. Yeah. So we kind of picked, I don't know, I feel like we picked a good time to do all this, especially because if
Unplanned
you've
because
heard our,
we didn't look
right,
into her stuff.
right. If you've heard our episodes before, thank you for coming back, first of all. But we've talked about, we got to meet, well, not meet, but we got to go to a panel with Lee Bardugo, which was pretty awesome. Um, And if you haven't listened to us before talk about the Grishaverse, then welcome. And you might want to take a pause and
Because
go
spoilers
backwards.
ahead, for sure. Spoilers ahead. And join us on our book club on the app Fable. We have a
Mm.
600 member book club, actually more than that now, reading this series. And we read a bunch of series with them. So come read it in real time with us, see our comments, see the fan art added. We tried to have great conversations and reactions, definitely spoilers within each chapter as well. So, make sure you read
Yeah,
the chapter and
yeah.
then go look into it. I did that a few times by accident this time around.
I know. I'm
Um,
definitely guilty of that.
so guilty of it. But make sure to check us out. You can look us up, our full podcast name, or if you just look up Fae Tales, it comes up right away. And we can read it together and react together. And then also we have mini episodes on this podcast that you can check out if you are like, oh, I don't want to get spoiled right now. Let me come off this
Mhm.
episode. You can go to one of our mini episodes where we are talking about some other stuff. We are in our book to movie adaptation. Imagine if it was the other way around, movie to book adaptation.
Read a book.
Uh, I mean, I'm sure that exists,
Bold.
but bold, very bold. It's like fan fiction, basically. Um, and we are like reading books before they come out to adaptions as much as we can. We're talking about every summer after right now, which is the Amazon show every
Mhm.
year after. We read the book, reviewed it, and we're going to be gushing about it on this podcast. And then we have our whole Allie Hazelwood mini episode series we did. There's so much to discover in our 3 seasons of this podcast. So
So
make sure to
true.
check it out. But that's enough a little advertisements and push for ourselves
A
to
little
the start,
welcome.
because we're going to get into this book and spoilers ahead, like Lee said, for all of the Grishaverse for the most part, because we did read Six of Crows, even though it doesn't come up often in this because obviously it came after. So we talk about it sometimes, but not the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't. And if we talk about it of Six of Crows, it doesn't spoil Six of Crows. Some of these characters are in it, but they're not main characters. So
Right.
their point in the plot of Six of Crows is not a spoiler.
No.
So yeah, let's dive right in and get our Shadowbird or no, Firebirds
The
out.
Firebird.
Let's
Yeah.
fly away.
Our
Yeah,
Phoenix. Yeah.
our Phoenix, Ruin and Rising. Soldier, Summoner, Saint. Also, I love in the paperback that we have, like they make Saint a different color in the
Oh,
copy.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't see that often. That's pretty cool.
Mm-mm.
The nation's fate rests with a broken sun summoner, a disgraced tracker, and the shattered remnants of a once great magical army. The Darkling rules from his shadow's throne, while a weakened Alina Starkov recovers from their battle under the dubious protection of the zealots who worship her as a saint. Now her hope lies with the mange of a long-vanished ancient creature and the chance that an outlaw prince still survives. As her allies and enemies race toward war, only Alina stands between her country and rising tide of darkness that could destroy the world. To win this fight, she must seize a legend's power, but claiming the Firebird may be her ruin. I wonder, when you read these, like, what if you just picked this up in the bookstore and didn't know that this was the end? Like, do you think if I just read that to you, you could dive into that thinking, oh, this is sounds like a great book. Like, just start here.
I mean,
I always wonder how people write, like, series copy. Like basically to not, so you don't,
yeah.
like, just think this is book one. Because I'm reading that to you, I'm like, huh, I could totally see this as book one. What if I just, like, picked this up and read it, you know?
Yeah, maybe I feel like from the first, like saying that she's broken and that he's disgraced, that that's supposed to be your sign. Because I guess, like, if you were starting a book, you'd have to have a lot of backstory to be like,
Yeah.
how
What's
is she
happening?
already? Yeah.
Even though I wonder if
Um,
you could just jump into this book without reading the other two.
that's a good, I kind of feel like maybe.
I think maybe.
I think with this one, you probably could. Because there's still like enough growth, you know? That would be kind of funny. What if we just gave it to one of our friends and we're like, here, read this. Tell us what you think.
That would be so funny. And like didn't
See how
tell them
many of them
anything.
are, yeah, are they confused or are they like, yeah, this is great? Um, that would be a fun test, like a
Literally.
backwards test.
So what a book. It's so funny too because I was so happy to finally get to this book because of the fan art.
Hmm.
Because
Oh
like
my
all
God,
of the
yeah.
fan art
There's so
was
much that
always of the end.
I hope you didn't look at this like before.
Well, like throughout I was, but I didn't obviously realize like what it was. I think it was fine, but like it was really funny that like I was waiting so many books for her to finally get like gray hair. Like I was
Oh
like, thank
yeah.
God. And they have a lot,
Yeah.
and like they have a lot of Alina and the Darkling, and it's like really concerning. Like a lot. And I just like I had to piece through it. Like it was actually harder for me to find her and Mal artwork who she ends up with, who is the love story
Right.
from the beginning, who also I pointed out in a previous episode, this entire trilogy is about the two of them, not just her.
Yeah.
Like it's their story.
Yeah.
But there's more
Yeah.
fan art for her and the Darkling, and I don't like it.
No. I again, that was still something in this book that
No.
I couldn't wrap my head around, and I got frustrated that it kept going back to that. Like there's a part where she vows she's never gonna use her connection to him again. And then within 50 pages she does it, and I was just like, I like what?
I just felt like, okay, we're jumping ahead in the book. I apologize for people listening. But the section, we call it the Darkling and Alina deep dive.
Yes,
I
okay.
just feel like when he gave her the vision of the children being kidnapped, and then at first I thought he was giving her a fake vision of Botkin, I forgot their
Oh,
name, the
the
teacher,
teacher. Yeah.
and then the Anakulia,
Oh, her like,
nurse, or
yeah.
growing up, I thought that
Yeah.
in the end it was a vision, and I was like, oh, they're not really dead. And then when she was like the end of the book, she was like thinking about all the lives lost and she really listed them. I was like, oh, so like he really showed her like a tree of hanging people that she cared about
Yeah.
that died. So I thought that would
Okay.
have been like at least the last straw for her
Yeah.
personally, because that felt like it. And it felt like that was a whole shift change. I know the whole thing was like he wanted her to believe he was the villain, and then she saw through that, I guess, because then by the end she obviously doesn't have any
Yeah.
thought about killing him, but then she wants to like grieve him and bury him and say his name for him, and I just was like,
Hmm.
what, like I think it was trying to give again, I think this book compares so much to Harry Potter, but or the whole series does. But I think it was trying to give the moment like in the Harry Potter films when um Harry is in the train station with Dumbledore, like in the vision,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
she sees
mm-hmm.
like Voldemort all crumpled up like a little sick child
And
underneath the bench,
yeah,
and
vulnerable.
realizing that
Mm-hmm,
like he's just a sad person and that
mm-hmm,
just like was treated wrong their entire lives and then led
mm-hmm.
to being a villain. So I think that was the point of it, of like her realizing like he wasn't always evil, he just became evil. So you should still mourn him, but I just didn't really get that because in Harry Potter they still don't mourn Voldemort. Like he
Right,
killed so many people, and like
right.
same here, like he risked so many lives and killed lives, but yet we're
Yeah,
mourning him. Anyway, I know your
yeah.
thoughts.
No, I agree because I, I don't know, that just felt, it didn't feel like genuine, I guess. And I know like he had followers, so, but I don't, I don't know if they would have mourned him because I feel like he ruled more out of fear than like love or even like what Alina has is this like sainthood, this holiness.
Hmm.
So like when they had like
That's a
he
great
got his
point. They never
own,
saw him as a saint.
yeah, like, and I mean we still, well, I guess I should ask, what do you think of like why like Jenya followed him in the beginning? Like what do you think it was just because he was giving her an escape from the king?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was just that. I don't think that it was
Okay.
any like I think when we were first reading it, it felt like, oh, they have a good relationship and she just trusts him and maybe that was inside of it too. Like maybe she didn't see him as fully evil or what he ends up being.
Yeah.
But like I think it also was once we learn about the depth of her, which we could talk about more situation, yeah, it was a way to escape that she felt like she couldn't escape.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was gonna say like her perspective might be the only one that we get that's like more humanized. But if she's just like following him because he was the lesser of two evils in a way, like that also doesn't mean like he deserved to be, you know, put to rest in such a like religious way or a typical way. I don't know. It was so
Yeah,
strange. And
nobody was
like,
his friend, I guess, except for Alina. But I even
yeah,
felt like they never got enough time together in the first book for me to
no,
actually
they
believe
really
that.
didn't. And like he used her and she like knew that,
Hmm.
you know, and like she was upset by it, but she was also like, I mean, she was very innocent in the beginning and like blinded because he actually like paid attention to her and like made to seem like he cared and like had these feelings and whatnot. But yeah, I just like the whole whispering his name, like give him a proper burial. It just like didn't, it was like a puzzle piece that didn't fit in for me. And I
Agreed.
also thought it was odd that like no one objected. They just let her do it. I was
Because
like,
it's
I'm
like,
pretty
how
sure
much,
people would have been mad.
like, I felt, I think that's a great point. You feel like the general public isn't mad enough at him,
Yeah. Or even
even though, like,
her
he was,
comrades. I don't know.
yeah, even though he was expanding the fold. I don't, it was just he confused me the entire series, and he still confused
Yeah.
me to the end. Like,
Yeah.
and then like I did like his like he's dying and he's like just don't leave me alone. Like that's his whole point was he didn't want to be alone anymore.
Hmm.
And like I get it, he was just like a sad child, but
Hmm.
I still didn't get any of her relationship to him at all throughout any of it and
Mm-mm.
why they felt this connection, if it was really just the magic of the light and the darkness. And then I also
Right.
was like, nobody was questioning, because like for so long, everyone thought there was like multiple Darklings, right? But he was able
Hmm.
to like convince them, but it was really just
Hmm.
him all this time, and she's the one that finds out
Hmm.
about that. Which I don't understand how he did that anyway, because that makes no sense if he didn't change his
Yeah.
looks, but whatever.
Right.
Um, it's a
Or
plot
his
point that doesn't,
age,
yeah, and
really.
it's a plot point that doesn't get talked about again because then
No.
now he's dead and no one's like concerned about when the next Darkling, like the next Avatar, like when the next Darkling will be born.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And then like they don't
Yeah.
technically need that because like she is the light and then she gave the light and then now everyone else's sun summoners.
Yeah, I didn't like that
So
either.
is there no, yeah, that was such a cheesy plot point. But it says there no Darkling ones? Like, I,
Yeah,
I'm
because,
really lost.
well, yeah, because it was him and his mom, I guess, had these dark tendencies, and they
And
both
did they
die.
have it because it was like a balance, or were they saying that it was only created because of the dad, the grandfather?
Is it
Because he was messing with
because,
stuff for so long.
right, yeah, the magic word that I can't pronounce. Um, I don't know. And once again, she made it seem very nasty. Like when Bagra's sister died, I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
why she gotta die like that? Like, come on.
That was so sad. That whole thing of,
It was very
just a
sad.
reminder for the listeners, like Bagra's sister was born without powers, and well, so we thought. And then Bagra was born with Darkling powers, essentially. And she was mad at her
Mhm.
sister for taking her doll and splitting it. So she used the cut for the first time and didn't realize that she was using the cut and literally cut her sister in half.
Yeah.
And then somehow the father being the most powerful fabricator and healer and everything in the world, because he was messing with magic. Again, they say like
Hmm.
that's actual magic, what he's doing. Like what they have is
Hmm.
just innate powers.
Yeah, it's like they call it the small science, so it's like
It's
science.
different. Yeah. And
But
then like
yeah.
he was messing with magic. Um, and so then he puts her back together, but then like a Frankenstein. And then the town is
Yeah.
like, this is witchcraft.
Hmm.
So we're gonna murder the two
So
of you.
die. Yeah.
But the thought is that whether or not we don't know whether or not they actually died, but he had to seal the third merce. Well, I can hear all of it in the audiobook, but then I go try to speak the words that are in this book and I can't. The
I
third
believe it. Yeah.
Empire, and he ended up sealing it, not knowing, into the daughter that died, and then the second,
Okay.
she obviously lived because
Yeah.
she had children, and those children had children, which was Mal,
Hmm.
passing that like soul binding thing down um, in the
Yeah,
generation.
I think that was a little confused. Like the magic of that was a little confusing. But I understood the gist, which was like Mal is the third amplifier.
Which
Okay.
we guessed from like book two, maybe, or
Yeah.
earlier, or that
I
he was Grisha or
yeah.
something was up.
Yeah. I wish that I had remembered. So she get like Alina talks about the scene where I think they kissed or something and something changed. And it was in like a town or something that started with a B, and I'm pretty sure it's in book one. And
Oh,
it wasn't a strong enough like memory for me, and I should have just gone back to be like, "Oh yeah, she felt that." 'Cause like I was just
hmm.
like, "I believe you." Like she felt it, you know, and hadn't really felt it again until the moment in this book. Um but yeah, I was like, yeah, we knew Mel was something, and
We just thought he was
it
Grisha this whole time. Ends up he wasn't, but or part Grisha,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I think I guess I was curious if there was something else. I mean, because that's what they kind of made it seem like the sister who got resurrected, she was something else. But I
Well,
guess
she
that's just the
was because she's not
amplifier.
Grisha. She's an amplifier. She like is magic, and they don't have people that are magic.
Yeah.
So then that's why Mal was so good at like hunting and finding. Well, he was good at hunting, but he was good at hunting the other amplifiers because he's called like calls to like, so he's
Right.
called to them.
Right. And he was like it was basically like he was made of the earth, like to the most core of what that means. So he was just like connected to all things. Um, One thing I really liked about when they come back from the big moment is that both of them have that same feeling of loss
Oh,
because of their power. Because that was something that like Alina had been dealing with for a while. And the thing that like the Darkling kept saying to her was like, he won't understand you, like Mal won't understand you, he doesn't understand your power, blah blah blah. So I thought it was really important that the author like said that or like made note that Mal felt that loss too.
Yeah.
even though he didn't know what, like, he went all his life feeling this thing and then suddenly it was gone and he had to understand what that meant. But, um,
Yeah, that's a great point. Something that we discussed in multiple episodes well of this series was Alina's power. Because I remember at one point you went, what is her power? Like, I don't understand. Like, she just like opens her palm and shoots out light and then nothing. How is your
mhm.
thoughts exploring her power more in this book as she learned her power more and defined it, and we somehow kind of got definitions, but not really.
um, I still kind of thought her power was, I don't want to say dumb, but I think too easily explained or like too easily manipulated. And like the biggest one is when David says, well, you can just refract the light and make us invisible. And I was like, what kind of physics class is this?
I didn't understand. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But then she had to first practice it on the boat,
A
and then
giant boat.
they were like, she was like, yeah, I got it. Like, from below, they can't see me. And I wanted
Yeah.
to be like, how do you know that? You're on the
Right.
boat. Nobody's
Right.
below you. And they're
No.
just like, yeah, it works. And I just was like, I was so confused by that. That moment really got me. I was just like,
Yeah.
no, that's
No.
you
No.
can't do that as the start of this power.
No. And then to use it to shield, I don't know
People.
how many, I'm going to say tens of people. I don't know if she had hundreds, but people in motion, there's just no way. Like, I'm sorry.
And
There's
she
just no
learned it in like
way.
5 days.
Right. It was definitely less than a week. So, and at the beginning of this book, she's so weak
Oh
and
yeah, I
so
know.
like frail. And again, I'm like, you were on the mountain thing for not that long. So like build up stamina, like you didn't get that much time. I thought it was a bit of a stretch. I mean, the concept was cool to be able to like hide people, but I wish that was something she was doing all along, you know?
Yeah, they just like wrote it off by being like, oh, how the Darkling showed me, and like in the first book, basically like how he does it with darkness and
Yeah.
fade into shadows. But like fading into shadows made more sense to me. Like
Yeah.
it was easier to to comprehend. I don't know,
Yeah.
than manipulating
I,
light to shield
yeah.
something.
I think also because like we've read so many books where like people have shadow powers, so we're just like used to it and we accept it. But light is
That's why I was
different.
trying to give it like benefit of the doubt with this series, because we don't read a lot of things where people have like light kind of powers. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it is very intriguing, very interesting because it's like
Mm-hmm.
different, but it's hard. It's hard to play with. Like I wonder if like while she's writing this book, is she like literally playing with light and seeing how it would
Yeah,
reflect
like
and like how what would be possible, what would not be possible.
right. Is there a prism? Is there like I don't know.
That's why I'm like, we need to watch the show. Like I can't wait to watch because I want to see how
Mm.
they depict it. Like I really want to
Mm-hmm.
know. And like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously they don't get to they cancel the show, so we can't get to the end. But I would have loved to know how they would have
Yeah.
done this book and to do the certain things. And the thing I love the most, like answering my own question about the power, was I love the Bagheera's take on it and like telling her to like not think too hard into your power, like it's
Mm-hmm.
all around you, to just like
Mm-hmm.
pull from it. And that was
Mm-hmm.
cool because it's just like, oh yeah, you're right. Like light really is all around you, so she could easily
Mm-hmm.
pull from it. But then we didn't get anything of like, I mean, I guess they didn't have electric light. If they had all fire, it wouldn't have made sense. But we were thinking about it. I know in the other books, it's like how much of it relates to like fire or to like those kind of things. And that would have been cool if she's like
Yeah.
on a hallway and she could like light something and light turn something
Yeah.
off. You know, like manipulate electricity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little different with that. I did love though with the Bagheera scene of the mountain. That was insane that she
Where
used
she chopped
light
it.
to chop a mountain. I was like, I still didn't understand it. I was like, I get it, but I needed to like see it. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to think of like how the light would just like, because I'm like, does it have heat to it? Does it?
Well, yeah. I feel like we thought it did,
I don't
but
think it does.
I don't know anymore. And then The Hufflepuff in me was like, you're destroying the mountain. Like, it's gonna cause an avalanche. Like, other people are gonna get hurt.
I'm thinking about the animals that live there. I was like, she's cutting this down.
Right.
There's probably like a poor mountain goat out there about to lose its life. Like, I just was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I was
couldn't.
like, I don't like this task. But yeah, I want to know because we didn't really get to talk about Nikolai and his situation. And I want to know what you think.
I love how we're going backwards too. We're not even starting from the beginning of this book.
No.
It feels like the
Well,
beginning
I
was
was
kind
gonna
of
have
boring.
us I was gonna have us talk about Alina, and then we sort of did.
With the
And then
Darkling.
it's fine. Then we went to power, and now we're talking about things that I deem not as realistic or not as fitting with the world. So, what do you think about
You didn't like
our
the wings thing, did you?
creature? No.
I did not expect that. Okay. I didn't think that
I
you'd
didn't
care.
I didn't think it made any sense. Especially I think this is where reading Six of Crows was a disservice
Mm,
because we meet him in that and he's fine. He's his, charming, sassy, smart self.
Stormhond.
Yeah, and you're like, "Okay, great." And then this happens and you're like, "How? Like how did this ever happen? How did he ever get out of this?" And then I also think that in Six of Crows, well, Crooked Kingdom, when those creatures come that they've like made to have the wings, like X-Men, they have like metal wings. I was like, is this supposed to be like that? Like, is this a precursor to that? But then there is no more Darkling in Crooked Kingdom. So how does that like add up? I just felt like this was way out of left field and there were no other like crazy creatures like well there were like the ghosty nothing creatures, the dementors if you
And
will.
then Shivoya.
Yeah, but I don't know. And I think I put this in the chat. I was like I couldn't even picture it. Like I was really
Did you see all
really
the fan art? That's a
struggling.
lie. I sent a lot.
Yeah, but like when I first read it I was like, so is he a bird or is he a man with wings and talons, which is also funny because I just started reading In the Veins of the Drowning, and that's how they're describing.
Wait, you're reading that book?
Yeah, it's part of the book club
You should tell me.
here.
I want to read that.
Oh, I
Okay.
just started it today. You could start it. I started the audiobook.
Okay.
Um, it's also very similar to like Shield of Sparrows, so um, I know we have a lot of books to read, but if you
Okay, so
wanted,
you were saying in that book they're describing wings.
that's what the sirens look like, which I thought a siren was a mermaid, but maybe there's a different form of siren. I'm learning. So yeah, I thought it was funny today that she has wings and she has talons. But yeah, Nikolai, it threw me for a loop. So
Yeah, the
I
way
don't know
they
if anyone
they
else felt
drew
that way.
him was more of like he has all this black in his veins and like as if he's like putting a Nichiboya inside of him, but like didn't fully do it as like an experiment. So it felt like it's like he has all the black veins. He does have wings from the back as Nichiboya does, and then like they describe him I like the talents, but from the fan art, it kind of just looks like he has really long nails. Like it just looks like his fingers extended, like a Slenderman
Okay.
thing. So
Okay.
that's like, I guess the best way. Like the fan art helped.
Mm.
Um, I, I think I would have rather him just be captured. Like I think I would have rather him be captured and like tortured, like Jenya, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Darkling used that over Alina as pressure and like show her visions of him like being tortured.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more powerful because then there was the threat of, okay, is he reporting back to the Darkling everything that he's seeing, and then ends up he's not, and like he still has a bit of his consciousness
Mm-hmm.
left inside of him, and then she's
Mm-hmm.
using her sun summoner powers to like get it out of him, and she can't fully do it, which I think she
Mm-hmm.
probably could have.
I
Um,
think so too. Yeah.
I think she could have. And then he comes and like helps them from the Oh, maybe I'm seeing the Nichiboya. Those are the ones in the fold. I might be seeing the wrong terms.
Well, those are the ones that like eventually the Darkling like they just kind of surround him.
But they're the
They're
ones that
the
live in the fold.
yeah, no, the
Okay.
Volcra are the ones in the
Volcra.
fold.
Okay, so I'm right.
Yeah,
Nichiboya is around him. So then
yeah.
then Nikolai comes to save them from the Volcra in the fold. Um so I just it just felt like not
Right,
necessary. Like it
right.
was a little weird. I wasn't like upset about it. Like now that I'm talking to you about it, I'm like, oh yeah, like you're right. They probably didn't need it.
She probably
Um
overreacted, but what else is new?
yeah. But yeah, I think it would have been more impactful. Because then I think
Well,
Nikolai
now,
could have had a lot happen to him, like, and
well,
that still
yeah,
affected him.
yeah. So now I'm like, oh, I hope we're gonna get more thoughts about it in King of Scars, where he like
Is
looks
he the king of
back.
scars?
Well, yeah. Um, 'Cause yeah, I feel like I need a little like closure or something, or just to, because you're never in his head, so you don't know what happened to him. Um, so maybe she was just like planting that
Maybe.
for this next. I don't know, but yeah, I was like, what is this? What's going on? And like,
Yeah, it is a
I think then
stretch.
it also like changed like your expectations where you're like, okay, are more creatures like this gonna happen? Like what's I don't know.
You know what this book did do for me? It gave me a different perspective. This is what you were saying, like the downside of us reading Six of Crows first, of like Ravka and the Second Army, because like when we're reading Six of Crows, and Nina's so obsessed with the Grisha and that army, and you
Mm-hmm.
get like Kaz's perspective and everybody else's perspective. I'm looking at this like, why is she going back to them? Like they're just being conscripted for war. Like they're not actually being used for helpful. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
actually a safe haven for them, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's you're going to be an army, so that's not a safe. You lose your freedom in that. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like on Kaz's side and everybody else's side that was like saying like don't go back, like that's stupid. And then now that I've seen the other side of it, I'm like, oh, I can see like the purpose and like the love and the genuine goal for Ravka and for the Grisha. I just think that this gave me more of Nina's perspective and understanding about why she was so defensive of the Second Army,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to convince like Jasper, Jasper, um, Jasper the Friendly Ghost, Jasper, and like other Grisha, like why it's important to go back for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, so like reading it six books, I just was like, I don't get it. And then now I'm like, oh, I see why, because like it is the only place that they are accepted and safe, and then that's the goal that um Alina mentions in for Nikolai is to dismantle the conscription age and to
Mm-hmm.
essentially like end this need for armies and for an army. And the need for it was the fold, and now the fold is gone. So maybe the Grisha can go back to living. But then I could see the other side of it where there might be resentment from the people of non-Grisha in
Mm-hmm.
Ravka because they lived so long with the fold, and whose fault was that? Grisha.
Yeah.
So it's, it always like, I love this idea. And I like that we got to see it more with this book. And hopefully I got to see it more pushed in the third series of,
Mm-hmm.
you would think the people that have powers would be in power, but they're not. They're actually like in hiding. They're on the run. They're essentially like enemy number one, and you think it wouldn't be that way because
Right.
they have all these powers, so they're just gonna,
Right.
take over, but they can't. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so intriguing. It's a flip of the script. Um, so we'll see. And then I think it sucks because, like, yeah, Alina didn't marry Nikolai, but she also like lost her powers. But the point of having a Grisha on the throne was like really impactful.
Mm-hmm.
So in all the fan art I see, and like they kind of mention it here, it's Zoya and Nikolai who like end up together.
Mm-hmm.
And they mention it here. I think Alina even made jokes to Nikolai about like you should look at Zoya, and then Zoya's obviously like
It's true.
but yeah, there's fan art of like her, and I wonder when we get to that if we get any flashbacks. Maybe I got spoiled, but there's fan art of like her seeing him with the wings and like helping him.
Oh,
So I was like, oh, I wonder if like they had a moment that we didn't know about yet. Or
yeah,
like
that's
that's
interesting
it.
because she's not, to our knowledge, she's not the queen in Six of Crows. But again,
Hmm.
that's to our knowledge. Um, but I
Until like
think
2 years
makes,
after. So
yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think like she would, because she grows a lot and she's powerful and she understands that world too, I think more than Alina did. So it would make sense. But we also know that like Nikolai is not really like he's not always in his country, you know? So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Like how does he rule when he's not there? Um But I also think it's interesting, like the Grisha power, like it's nothing, like their power can be pretty simple, right? Like it's like manipulating metal or, manipulating water or wind. I think like the heart renders and the healers have the most, like they can do significant
so much.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. I really like whenever she was like Tolia would just like clench his fist and someone's like heart just like crumpled in their chest. Um, but for the most part, they don't seem super threatening, and
Yeah.
yet they're just
Enemy number
looked,
one.
yeah. So she definitely painted that. She made like a good society or like what everyone thinks of and whatnot. Um, and I commend her for that.
Well, let's talk about the beginning. We haven't talked about the beginning at all. How was
Okay.
your thoughts with the apparat and them being trapped? And this is like their fourth time being kidnapped. It's like every book starts off and they're kidnapped.
Literally. Yeah.
Um,
I
they can never
think,
catch a break.
yeah, I guess I wasn't really I mean, it made sense that they were like more like zealots. I didn't really expect that kind of twist right off the bat, I guess. And to have him be so controlling and her like so weak.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, I think the beginning we see like a good character growth in Alina, and I can always appreciate when like a strong female character can come along and like she knows how to play the game, she knows what to say, she knows like what power like exists in her words, and I think she does a pretty good job of that. Um But yeah, I guess I just wasn't expecting this as the beginning. And maybe it was a little slow because, like you said, like here we are again, kidnapped. Then we have to go on a journey. We have to meet new people and figure out like what their alliances are, yada, yada, yada.
That's what
So,
was difficult for me was all the people we met and all the people that, and she just like is saying them like, yeah, it's this person, like, you know this person.
right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know this person. I actually have no
Mm-mm.
idea who you're talking about. And apparently Alina does. And like Alina went to school with them and Alina like trained with them. And like she saw them at this one location that I don't remember seeing them at. And so I think I put that in the group in the book club. I was like really confused about who was who for a while. Like
Mhm.
it was actually kind of hard for me to follow along. Like I knew like Toya and Tamar and Jenya and Zoya, obviously, because like we were with them more. But then when
Mhm.
it got to like the third cast, I guess, like the
Yeah.
secondary, it would be Toya and Zoya and all of them. But so like after them, I was like really confused. Like I knew it took me a while. Like when they had their first, whatever last bit of Grisha was left from the second army, and then they left the apparat and they went underground and then they had like that cave in and whatever. I was like,
Mhm.
who is who? Who is where?
Mhm.
We're all separated, but like who's separated? Like I don't know. Like Stick was hard for me to Like, I was like, okay, Stig is the Fjerdan.
Hmm.
They never saw again by the end of the book?
Yeah, yeah, I think he got left behind when they had to go on the boat. When they got attacked
In Fjerda?
at the mountain, yeah. I think he didn't make it. I think.
Like, died, or he's in
Yeah,
Fjerda? Oh, he
I think
died.
he died. Yeah, like
Okay.
died fighting. And
Okay.
then
Oh, he died in his home
Sergey,
country? That's sad.
yeah. Sergey betrayed them?
Yeah, and I was like, who the fuck is
Question mark?
Sergey? Like, literally, when they were like, we
I-
don't know. Like, he might have not. Like, he might have just, like, snitched when he got caught. And then, did he know all along? Like, there was obviously no answer because he's dead. And I just was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know where he came into their group. I don't know when he joined. I
I
don't know if he
think
was there the whole time.
he was one of the originals because
Yes,
he
because they
was
mentioned,
with
like, his love lost.
right. But yeah, it was still like she threw and then we had Harshaw and the cat
On Cat.
on cat.
There's
Loved
so
on
much
cat.
artwork of On Cat. Like, of people with Ankat. Like, it was, like, a lot of Alina with Ankat, and then it was, like, Harshaw and Ankat. And there was so much artwork of Harshaw that when I found out he died, I was like,
Yeah.
he died? I was like,
Yeah.
I thought he was going to become a bigger character than he
I
was
thought
because
he
there
was
was
gonna
so
be
much
with
artwork.
yeah, I thought he was gonna be with Zoya. I thought they were a thing.
See, okay, I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that felt a build-up for this character then, because I felt like he was sticking out more than the rest of them. Like, it felt like they were there, they were the third characters because you were like, okay, they're
Hmm.
probably gonna die. And, like, we're gonna care but not care. Like, it's not gonna emotionally affect us as much, but then it's gonna emotionally affect Alina, which would then impact our experience as a reader. So that's what I
Hmm.
felt. Like if you're watching a TV show and you're like, ooh, that one person in that group's gonna die, it's gonna be them. But it's not gonna be our main
Yeah.
character or our main character's best friend.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, whatever. But then the more moments he was given, the more talk he was given, I was like, oh, he's like becoming more of a secondary cast.
Yeah.
So that when he died, and then she just like mentioned it very briefly, and I was just like, this should have been a bigger moment. Like, this
Hmm.
felt bigger,
Hmm.
and it wasn't. Especially because then Nadia became a bigger character, and her
Yeah.
brother, who I was like, I was
Oh,
confused for a little bit. I was like, her brother was the young one, right? Like,
yeah.
he lost his arm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to clarify this because I was like, I didn't know if this was a different character that had like a sibling or if it was like her. Like, I
Oh,
think this is
no,
from the first
that's
book. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, he lost his arm. Got it.
Or maybe I thought he was gonna be was either way. But they both live?
Yes, they both live.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because Nadia is dating
Tamar. Tamar?
Tamar.
Tamar. Okay. Yes.
I get them confused again with the boy and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. I don't get
Yeah.
enough time with these characters for me to differentiate them, and I don't like that. That bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah. I also I struggled with like allegiances. Like in the beginning of
Mm.
the book, we know that like Tamar and Toya are on her side, but they're like on the crazy saint side too.
Mm-hmm.
And like we found that out in the second book. But it really wasn't like a wild thing in this book. Like they didn't really become fanatics. They were just themselves.
They
So
were
I was
just
like,
like we saw them before.
yeah. I was like, so did this matter? I don't know. And then there was Ruby, I think her name was. She was one who had like her face branded, and
Yes, there was,
Alina didn't like that.
and she ends up being the one that does die,
Hmm.
and they bury her body as a sun summoner.
Yes, yes. Which I also thought was kind of like wild. Like I felt really bad for her. I mean, she probably was honored,
That's
but
what they've said. Like, they would be like her last big
yeah,
thing. But yeah, it was weird to like see people that like which is great, I guess, that like Alina was seeing people that she knew suddenly like looking at her differently, and it just was like, did they really believe it or not? And
yeah,
maybe that's what we're missing. Like, we saw the zealots and things, but maybe we weren't like enough time for people to like really, for us as a reader to question. Like I was like, am I supposed to question whether or not I think that she is a saint? Like,
Mm,
do we think she actually is one?
no.
And then like I think that that's the question throughout all of the Grishaverse, which I think she poses. Even in Six of Crows, it's like, and Alina questions it too. Are these people actually saints, or are they just really powerful Grisha that people got afraid of
Mm,
and then made
mm-hmm.
stories off of? And so that's basically what they did with her, right? Like she became really powerful. They got afraid of her, so they made her a saint. And
True.
that's kind of the role the Apparat plays in this entire series of making her into that, because he could see that it could easily go the other way. But he was very much if you watch Game of Thrones, he's Littlefinger, like the person that
Mm-hmm.
plays the middle because they're trying to make themselves
Mm-hmm.
get to the top. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously things weren't going well with the Darkling, so he needs someone to oppose that to get rid of that. And so his goal in spreading the message of her wasn't necessarily that he actually believes she's a saint, but it's more of he's trying to not have what happens to the other saints in the universe, where if they get too powerful, people just like kill them. And
Right.
now instead he flipped the switch and script, which is a lot of this is thanks to him for doing that she survives,
Mm-hmm.
that flipping the script in that allows her to keep going in the story. So that was I was kind of like lost in that, my own thought, but I thought it was very thoughtful and very like powerful in that the way that Lee wrote this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's interesting because then when we get to Six of Crows and we talk to Matthias, who has all these beliefs in the saints, we're like, oh, are this real or is this not real? And then we know that they
Mm-hmm.
have there's other books that she made too that we haven't read that are like novellas or one-offs that like talk about the stories of the saints. So it's like what essentially Helena was reading, but they
Mm-hmm.
made it. So it's like, what
Mm-hmm.
is the higher power in the Grishaverse, if there is any to begin with?
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking about Inej and her, how she like has all her little blades that are the different saints' names, and what does that really mean? And I'm like, is there a song to Alina? But I don't think so. Um,
And it's a great theme to like dive into, like this theme of um religion and magic and which
mhm,
one is the real and which one without. It's just like our
mhm,
obsession with Greek mythology. Like there's so
mhm.
much magic and wonder and like whimsicalness to it that like you can understand why it was believed, and then like now it's like nobody follows that anymore, and it's like
Right.
really just mythology, but it's like at one point it was real to people, and like where do you draw the line in it? So I do really love that she explores it in this. It reminds me of also The Night and the Moth,
Yeah, I
and
was
the
gonna say
ideas of
that too.
that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's pretty cool. And then kind of what she's doing in Shield of Sparrows too, with the second book, like a lot of what she's doing there with like the religion and people believing, and it ends up it's like not really real religious people. It's like just people who took
Yeah.
advantage of power. So it's really powerful. I don't see that a lot with some of the books we read, especially with any introduction of religion
Mm.
and how that could be used as a positive thing,
Right.
negative thing. There's so much
Right.
to talk about. There's like so much to deep dive within that
Hmm.
thought.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, because like even with like Fourth Wing, like we talked about in the last book, like there's kind of a dipping of the toe into this sense of the gods, and like so now it's like, is Rebecca Yarros gonna go there? Is she gonna try this too? Like it'll be interesting to see. Um, but it's funny because as we're talking, I'm like thinking about different scenes in Ruin and Rising and Rites of the Starling, and I'm like, I was thinking about like when they're both on the trek in the caves, and like Alina's trying to get out, and Caspia is trying to get the orbit. And
Hmm.
like it's so twisted in my head because like in Rites of the Starling they get attacked by that like bat
The
creature, and like
monster, yeah.
that's not what happens in this book, but they're just so similar.
Well, Ruin the Rising came first, so we'll have
That
to
is
say
true.
that.
That is true. And
And that's
even
what I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even in Book of Azrael, there's a scene where they like go into the depths and they're trying to find the book, and there's like a dead guy. So it's a common, like it's an Indiana Jones almost.
Mm.
And that's just when our fantasies tend to overlap.
I think what's interesting, what frustrates me a little bit about this series, but then also makes me really happy, is Lee Bardugo really dives into so many themes that you don't expect, and like you can like piece them apart. Like I just spent like 5 minutes talking about the impact of religion in this book, and I feel like you could just peel it apart and talk about it and like explore it and think about it. But I feel like it's not as easily intertwined throughout the text
Mm,
as like I think as we're reading her other books, they do develop in that where we're able to just like not have to deep dive to talk about these themes. They're just like they're like I said, intertwined within the text. That we're feeling it more. Where now I'm
mm,
like, oh, let's sit down. And I'm like, oh, actually, you know what? This is really cool the way that she does the politics
yeah.
of the universe. Oh, this is really cool the way that she does the religion of the universe. It's really cool how the power mechanisms work. Everything. And we're like, oh, we're not thinking that though as we're reading Alina's story. And that might just
Mm-mm,
be what it is. It's just because it's her story and it's just not
mm-hmm,
we don't love her as the main character to begin with. So it might just be
mm-hmm,
the way that this came to fruition. But I think it's beautiful from that we then get the other books because it really does make it a universe where they complement each other so well that it's like it would be kind of a disservice if you didn't read all of them.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Like it's the world is what's so fascinating for us, and like Alina's story and Mel's story just like wasn't really what we wanted, I guess, or
Like
like
the
it's
most
just like
powerful of it, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like glad we read it, like glad we could explore it and enjoy it. And it's nice that we get to like talk about it now, but it wasn't, I wouldn't say it would have been one of our favorites, you know. It's
No.
okay.
And like as I read this too, I think I remember another question I had for you earlier was talking about the politics of the universe that I think are so interesting the way that she's delved into it here. I didn't feel it as much as obviously we do in Six of Crows. And I think, like, to say that is like, duh, you didn't feel it because, like, in Six of Crows, you see every nation and they visit
Mm,
other nations and whatever.
mm,
But I think because I had all that knowledge in my head, and again, this might be because we read it backwards, as we're reading it, I'm like looking for that more. And
mm,
I'm just like,
mm,
what do you mean, like, they talk to the shoe? Like, what do
mm,
you mean? Or what do you mean they went to Fjerda? Like, what do you
mm.
mean? Like, that's so
Yeah.
crazy of a thought, but it's different. And then also, like, we're seeing it in Six of Crows 2 years after all these events. So 2 years after the fold is gone, 2 years after the trading has probably changed drastically. Like, was
Mm-hmm.
it a benefit to these countries? Was it not a benefit to the country that the fold was gone? You know, were they making more before that? And all the ammunition and the war, and I'm sure that the countries were profiting off of Ravka's
Right.
inner battle, and now it's gone. So
Right.
it just was so weird
I know.
seeing the
Yeah.
opposite.
And like, did that affect like how Ketterdam grew? Like, did it allow more people to like go there and whatnot? So I think I think that is what's fun about this though, is that we get to see I think of it as like Six of Crows is like our baby, and like now we get to, like we have all the building blocks, so we get to see like that flourish, and we're like, oh yeah, like this is why this happened.
Do you
Um
kind of wish that, because like you read Six of Crows before we read it, do you wish that you had read this before rereading Six of Crows?
I think I would have been disappointed.
Okay.
And I think I would have been like, oh no, like hang on, like I swear Six of Crows is good. So I still think it's okay how we did it,
Okay.
you know? And I think going back into Six of Crows, I just like fell in love with it all over again and I enjoyed that. So I would never say no to that.
Maybe Six of Crows gave you more appreciation for Shadow and Bone.
I think so. And I think also like we definitely said like she got better. They got better as like the books went on.
Yeah, the writing
So
did get better.
yeah. So I think also like having read Six of Crows, like we knew that it was gonna get even better. So that may have helped us along, you know?
And we
So
knew it had to wrap up. Like, there was, like, no way we couldn't wrap it
yeah,
up. And,
yeah.
like, the whole time, Lee's just like, I don't understand. Like, we don't hear about this girl in Six of Crows. So there's no, like, something has to happen. I can't tell you guys enough how much Lee was like, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. She's gonna die. Because we don't know about her later. And I was like, we have to find out what
I was
happens,
like,
Lee. Like, I don't
something's gotta
know.
happen.
And, okay, so the ending. This is a great way to wrap up this episode, is talk about the ending.
Yeah.
I think we both have very mixed feelings. I will tell you what I loved about it and what I didn't love about it. I absolutely loved the idea that they lost their powers. I think that was really cool because I don't know how you would have wrapped up their story in this, but also like where the impacts of that would have gone. Because yes, the fold would have been done, but this is what Nikoali kept telling Charlotte the whole time. Like, even when we do this and defeat him, like, we have to decide if we're gonna get married with all these things, because you're gonna still be one of the most, you're basically taking the place of the Darkling as you're one of
Right.
the most powerful Grisha, so we keep going. And then again, how would we have not heard of that until Spurs? So I obviously I like how it did that, but I think it was just more like, you saw her grow and her accept her powers and become this Grisha and fall into this world, but then you also saw her battling her past and wanting to get back to that. So now it kind of gave her like more of the choice in that. Like, it took away the pressure of being like this most powerful Grisha, and we see that with the fast forward as they're explaining what happened to them. Like, she still is Grisha and she still is loved by them and her community. And so I like that she has her found family and her found family within the Grisha world, but she's able to like still go back to who she is at a core without all of that. So I appreciated the loss of the power. I think that was really smart. I appreciated that obviously she's the one that killed the Darkling, because like there was no sense otherwise. Didn't love the Mal dying and then Mal coming back a second later. I was really confused, and it ends up that
a
it was
lot.
Tolia and them that brought him back. I didn't get that. I thought it was just like a Disney princess moment. She cried and the tear made him come back to life. Like, I was really confused on how he just like came back. Resurrection Stone. Like, I didn't understand. But, and especially, I think I was thinking there was so much talk of resurrection, and also like how the grandfather figured out the resurrection with the sister and brought her sister. So
Yeah.
I thought the ending was going to be that she resurrects Mal. Like, I thought that she was going to use like her light to do that, and then like no, it ends up a heartrender came and saved his life when she was basically almost dead. And this was like, okay, so why didn't you guys just do that from the beginning? Like, why wasn't this thought about from the beginning then? Like, just make him. Okay, there's an episode in Vampire Diaries where they do this. Really interesting. Where it's like Matt, who's a human, like, I forgot, it was like one of the early episodes, so I forgot why they needed to do this, but there was a whole thing that Bonnie the Witch was like, I'm going to stop your heart, and then we're going to bring you back to life, and and they needed them to like die for a second. I don't know if it was for a spell or if it was for something, and then they like, do the whole thing. So when I'm reading this, I'm just like, why didn't they come up with a plan like that of like, we're going to stop your heart, and so you die, but then we bring you back. Nobody thought that far. And then she just shoots him. They stab him? She stabs him.
Yeah, he stabs him.
And then they come back. And so like that felt like more of a stretch to me, that they were going to just like bring him back like that. Okay, your turn. What did you think of the ending?
Yeah, no, I definitely I warred with that too, because I fell in love with Mel like so much.
Yes.
And just the idea of him like sacrificing himself, like, it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful, and
It
it's
is.
just one of those moments. And I think like she did a really good job of like building that up and like preparing you, the reader, for that and accepting that. And so like when it happens, you're like, I didn't want this to happen, but I understand, and like he's made the sacrifice, okay. And then like Alina loses her mind, right? Naturally. And it's kind of a jumble and you don't really know what's happening. And then all of a sudden, yes, he's back. And I guess I was the same, where I wanted it to be her, or like felt like it was her.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're right. We did have like healers there. So I guess they literally worked their magic and he comes back. And then it like, I guess in a way it was a little too like, okay, we put it all the box together, like wrapped it
Like,
in a
everything's
nice little
fine.
bow. Yeah. And I think
So
you
why
even said,
why didn't you like, I'm sorry, why didn't you like the sharing of power then? Where everyone
oh,
became
with
Sun
everyone,
Summoner. Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was anticlimactic.
Okay.
And I think that may have just been like how it was written, that it was just kind of like glossed over in a way. Um, and I also think like that's a big deal to like put on everyone else and to like again never talk about it. Like I feel like if you and I were in a room and all of a sudden light is shooting out of our hands, we're gonna be like, what the hell? What do we
Yes.
do? But everyone
Yes.
seemed to kind of like know what to it was a little too like nice and neat for me.
Hmm.
But I will say, like, the very, very end, like, our after scene was lovely. Like, that was so nice and neat, and I was just very happy with
So
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
Everything about that was perfect. The fact that they opened their own school and that like I loved it, like the way it was written of like the teachers were judging them. Like, who are they? Like they're so weird. Like they're
Hmm.
always out together and that she's walking barefoot and like she's teaching classes and then sometimes they're sad and sometimes they're not sad and they're
Hmm.
then like these people
Just
come to visit
staring at the
them and
sun.
yeah, they're just like, why is she staring? Like I just love it was just so beautiful and you're like that's the ending I definitely wanted for these characters.
Hmm.
um and I think that riddle me this, would you have liked if the ending would have been that like she kills the Darkling and in so her and Mal like die but then like come back but they have like a moment in like another
Mm.
side, you know, or just
Mm.
like
Yeah.
and deciding whether or not it would have been so interesting too if they decided whether or not to come back. Like
Hmm.
if they were there together, like let's say they were in like this like limbo, right? Like their
Hmm.
bodies are still there, their souls are hanging
Hmm.
on, and then they're in like a limbo together, like in the meadow, and then they're like, "But this isn't
Oh,
real." Like, do we go back? And then they decide to go
yeah.
back, and then they come back to life. Like I think that would have
I
been
think that would have
sick.
been great. Yeah, actually.
Okay, fan art, oh fan art, fan fiction.
I'm here for it. No, that would have been very Harry Potter, but also I think that would
Well,
have
this
been
whole thing reminded me
nice.
of Harry Potter, so as I said,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I think it would have been a nice like to see Alina and Mal like finally on the same page in a big decision like that. So I approve.
okay, I'll write the chapter. I'll post
Excellent.
it.
Put it in the chat.
I will. Yeah, that I think that would have been great. But you're right. The ending was the best, one of the best endings I've seen in a while. It reminded me of well, I guess this came first, so maybe it was inspired. But like the Divine Rivals ending was
Oh,
very similar
yeah.
to that, where they're
Yeah.
like just they got their peace, they're writing, they have a
Mhm.
garden, so it's just like,
Mhm.
ugh,
Yeah.
couldn't ask for anything more. Like I love when they have things like that rather than just like they got pregnant and
Right.
they lived happily with their children. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
No, this
Like,
was it was nice that they were still like giving back and
they found their
we're just
purpose. And that's
yeah.
the thing, like the entire series of them not knowing their
Mhm.
purpose. Both of them.
Mhm.
Like she didn't really want to do this and he didn't want to do
Mhm.
this. They just didn't know their
Mhm.
place in it, but they knew they couldn't just walk away from it. Now they found their
Mhm.
purpose and they found their why for Ravka. And I
Mhm.
loved that because like she saw that with different people. She saw that with the Darkling because at the end of the day, like he was trying to make Ravka better, but in his twisted mind. And he
Mhm.
found the wrong path to do that. And then Nikolai was trying to make Ravka better this whole time. And so, like, she found her why for Ravka, especially as an orphaned child who felt like on the outside, no matter what. Like, she was
Mhm.
able to find it with Mal in their peace. And I think that's just beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah. Thought that was very nice.
Well, I guess that's a wrap on Shadow and Bone
Yeah.
trilogy. Now we start the last duology. We start Miss King of Scars. I'm excited. I feel like I'm going into this one like completely blind. Like at
I
least like
know.
Six of
I
Crows, I had an
know.
idea. Shadow and Bone, I watched the first season without knowing I watched the first season. And so then now I'm just like, this is like really
King's
like, I was like,
Scars.
oh crap, I forgot we have this. So kind of exciting. We're gonna review it here on the podcast and read it on the book club. So make sure to check us out on the app Fable to see that live reactions in real time. Check us out on Facebook and Facebook. Check us out on Instagram and
Instagram,
TikTok and YouTube, and let us know what
YouTube.
you think. Let's chat. Make sure to check out our mini episodes like we mentioned, especially if you are into watching a lot of like TV and movies, because we're going to be relating to a lot because the books are being adapted. And let us know all your thoughts. And, we'd love to talk more about Shadow and Bone People. We're going to watch the show. So I can't wait to talk about that.
Yes,
And there's
yes.
just so much exciting things. So it's a great summer of romance and a great summer of fantasy for us, because we're always knee deep in a great fantasy. So thank you all for listening to today's episode, and happy reading.
Happy reading.